Hey, they pushed a optimization patch for Where's Orochi 4 PC late last night. I just got around to testing it, and I've actually had a pretty positive response. Now, there are still some things apparently that tank the frame rate, like the volumetric fog, which I don't think anybody cares about. I think ambient occlusion and reflections do it as well. But I have pretty much everything else maxed. I did try with particles on high, and that was definitely causing some problems in the challenge mode. The particle effects in this game are like ridiculously overdone anyway. Like, it feels like you can't even see your character with some of the effects now, especially with ones like the DLC Teleria. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on high right now. And we'll do a little bit of live testing here. Now, particle effects like that tanked the frame rate for me before, and now it's much better. But you can see how crazy they are, like you can barely see your character. So I actually like to put it on low or medium just because of, you know, it's easier to see the character, it's easier to see what's going on. One of the things that gets you killed the most in this game is just too many particle effects and things going on, and then somebody casts a Muso and you die before you can even notice it. So I actually don't like to have it on all the time, but we're actually going to try Levitate right now as well, since that was something that tanked the frame rate for me too. Yeah, this totally tanked the frame rate before. It would go like below like 30 FPS before. Now it's at about 59 to 57 frames per second, so much better. Now, I think the ultimate benchmark for this game is the challenge mode, because there's just so much going on. After you take out a couple officers, basically in the center, like thousands of peons spawn, and it's basically just how fast you can go through them. So at that point, when you're stacking all those bodies, all those effects, and all those particle effects, it does tank quite a bit on high, but when I put it on medium, I wasn't really going below 50 frames per second, so that's actually a pretty big improvement over the way it was before. So I'm going to go ahead and knock it down to medium, and then we'll do some testing. Or rather, I've actually already tested this, so I'm just going to show it to you guys. So the challenge mode does have a purpose. It's performance benchmark. It doesn't really accomplish much of anything else, but I also have it on 1080p now. I used to have to run this on like 900p to get a stable 60 FPS, but I no longer have to do that, seems. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to try to stack on as much as I can right now. Okay, so let's go into a Rage Muso. It's holding up pretty well. Like, it's mostly the particle effects that seem to really be a bottleneck on this game. Like, they just really tank the frame rate for whatever reason. But yeah, this is a pretty good patch overall. Normally, when I do my videos, I had to knock it down to 900p to have a more consistent 60 FPS. I like to provide the best viewing experience that I can. That was something I had to do before. Whereas right now, I'm recording at 1080p, or rather the game is running at 1080p and I'm recording at 720, and I'm not noticing any performance hitches at all. So if you want to see my settings again, I probably could max everything and have a pretty stable frame rate, but some of the stuff in this game still just, it's a big performance hit for not much of a real visual difference. So I have the reflections and ambient occlusion and the volumetric fog off. I haven't really tested everything else. You can probably deal with shadows as well. As far as I know, it's the fog and like the ambient occlusion and the reflections that really tank things. So I have those off. I mean, how much do you really look at reflections in this game? We already have particle effects that you can barely even see the character once they stack too much. So I think this is a pretty good patch overall. I'll try to record. Maybe I'll do like 1080 from now on, and maybe I might knock it down to 900 still, just so it doesn't tank. But that was in the challenge mode, which is like the absolute maximum amount of officers and like shit you can have going on at once. So I think it's a pretty good patch overall. I'll definitely be testing it more probably in the next few days. Thanks for watching. Peace.